2015, we ramped up a lot of field work. One thing, you may recall a document, the Historical Radiological Assessment Supplemental Technical Memorandum, which identified various areas across Treasure Island, which we concluded needed further investigation due to the potential for radiological issues to be at those sites. So we got various projects in place so that we could go and investigate all of those areas that were identified in that document. And in the following slide, you'll see a map later on that shows those areas and the status of those areas relative to the project's completions. The second item here is the Site 12 Residential Radiological Scans follow-up. This is related to Chris's project where he managed the radiological scanning of all the residential units. There were 3 areas of interest where we went back and investigated, and there's a follow-up report that summarized the findings of that. That work was performed in July. The Site 6 is not necessarily a radiological site per se, but we use the majority of Site 6 for storage of the low-level radiological bins, which Chris mentioned he uses that are filled and then shipped off-site. So since we used the site, and a small portion of it was used as a recycling area during World War II, we did radiologically flag that area for surveying. We conducted that survey, and we ended up issuing a report, or we will be issuing a report for that work as well. Basically, in the larger area, we found nothing, and then in the smaller area, the smaller triangle area, where the historical recycling occurred, we found 1 object out of the entire area. And then, as with every year, we have groundwater monitoring. We have a base-wide groundwater monitoring program for all the sites which are relative to some sort of groundwater surveying, sites 6, 12, 21, and 24. And we're basically on an annual schedule now where we have one report for the year that summarizes whether it's quarterly, biannual, or other frequency. And that we do that report in September. Also, sites 21 and 24, we've historically done some supplemental soil gas monitoring. And this just helps define the conceptual model for the sites and see, and it helps us determine how well the remediation in case of site 21, or for site 24, it helps us define the actual remediation that will take place. And for site 12, of course, the solid waste disposal area work. This work is continuing, as Chris informed you today, and most likely will be informing us for several meetings to come. This is expected to go probably through 2016, as his schedule slide indicated. Site 24, as mentioned, we're getting into the record of decision phase. And a lot of times after that, we do some pre-design investigation. It helps us refine the remedial design so that we have more efficient implementation of the remedy in case it has to be something like excavation. Helps us refine those boundaries of an excavation or some other remedy to put in place. And then last but not least, we have sites 31, the final status survey. And that's a fancy word for a radiological scan of the area. Since Site 31 was part of that long swath that was historically a recycling area during World War II, we radiologically flagged that area for further investigation. In Site 31, we're sort of in the final phases of gathering some more data so that we can go to the regulatory agencies and ask for what we call free release, radiological free release of the area.